Today, we're checking out an amazingly authentic amp emulation pedal from Universal Audio. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the 𝗵𝗵𝗃 Reverb Amplifier Emulation Pedal. This gorgeous piece of art from Universal Audio that you see on your screen now is part of a new family of amp emulation pedals from Universal Audio. Now, personally, to my ears, this thing sounds absolutely amazing and very, very authentic sounding. However, it does so much more than just give you that classic 65 Deluxe reverb tone. You see, included in the pedal, there are multiple speaker and speaker cabinet options, as well as some sweet extras that allow you to begin creating incredible tones in no time. Let's talk about where the idea actually came from and why it matters before we actually get into the specs and start creating some sounds. So the 65 Deluxe Reverb is one of those iconic amplifiers all throughout history. It's the American clean tone. It's that California clean tone, producing everything from country music to jazz, rock music, everything in between. All sorts of tones are available in this amplifier. It's been used by countless artists on famous recordings and blasted from a myriad of stages throughout the world. Notable artists such as Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Muddy Waters, Tom Petty, the Beatles, and a huge list of others have all at one time or another had one of these in their signal chain. However, beyond that, the 65 Deluxe is also a fantastic pedal platform. It takes drive pedals very well, modulation pedals, time-based pedals, all of them sound great through a Deluxe reverb. Likewise, the amp itself is also capable of delivering awesome lead tones as well. When you crank up the input, the edges of the guitar tones begin to break up in a way unlike any other. So what's crazy about this particular pedal is that now all of those capabilities are inside the 𝗵𝗵65 reverb pedal, but it doesn't stop there. The product development team took things a step further. Along with the stock amp model that they've also included what's referred to as an ODI special or an overdrive special mod to the Deluxe reverb, and a Texas mod or that SRV Fender tone. So essentially we have three different amps to choose from, and each one of these has a boost built in as well. Likewise, the pedal comes with 3 speaker cabinets and 3 types of speakers on board. And when you register the pedal, you get 3 more speaker cabinets and speaker choices. So you can mix and match among those 3 different types of 65s, the stock, the vintage, and the modern, along with 6 different cabinets and speaker types as well. Now, having those emulations is one thing, but they've also got microphone and room emulations that help to give you those authentic tones as if you had a microphone on the speaker cab itself. Along the lines of versatility, the pedal can be used in 2 different modes. There's a live mode where you're actually dialing up the sounds that you want using the front pedal settings on the fly. From this mode, you can store a single preset and recall it using the preset foot switch. And as you've already guessed, there's a preset mode. This mode lets you switch over to your dialed tone with the press of a button. Now later we're going to look at some ways that you can use an app which will allow you to call up more presets and to reconfigure what the controls are doing. But as the pedal comes out of the box, we've got live mode with the front panel controls and a single preset that's available. Alright, now let's talk about how this pedal can be useful for the gigging professional as well as the home studio. First off, the 𝗵𝗵65 can be operated in a variety of signal path routings. You can go mono in, mono out, stereo out, and there's also some special modes. For instance, if you want to use this pedal with a real amp, or if you want to incorporate effects with it, you can add it as an additional channel to one of your existing amps, or as an excellent emulator for the pedal board that's being sent to a mixer or even a DI source. Likewise, it has dual engine processing that allows for custom setups where you've got 2 different amplifiers on the left and right for even more tonal versatility. And speaking of versatility, the pedal is set up so that the input and the output can either accept instrument level signals, meaning guitar, bass, or line level signals. So you can also use this with synthesizers, keyboards, and audio interfaces as well. Now, to bring this thing into the 20th century, you can literally connect this pedal via Bluetooth to the UA Effects app running on Android or iOS, and that allows you to access tons more presets. Those presets can then be added to your catalog where you can archive your unique tones, as well as organize them for instant recall at your fingertips. What's more is, inside the app you can even do things like reconfigure what the switches are doing and tweak some of the other settings as well. It's notable to mention that you don't have to have the app to use the pedal, but it does open up some new possibilities for you. And in keeping with its versatile business model, the same app that you use on this pedal can actually be used with any of the Universal Audio amp pedals and the 𝗬𝗂 pedal line as well. All right, let's take a closer look at this beauty. Now, just like the amplifier, we have what's called a volume control, and this would be the volume control for channel 2 or the vibrato channel of the Deluxe Reverb. We've also got bass and treble controls, and those function as you'd expect. We got a reverb control that feeds the signal into a tube-driven spring reverb tank that sounds fantastic, by the way, and there is a master volume or an output. Now, the master volume would not have been on the original amp, but it's very handy. It allows you to drive the front end of the amp into the overdrive while still keeping the volume levels manageable. Now, our final setting is down here. It's called the boost control, and this is a front end boost with a vintage amplifier, or it's a clean boost when we switch to some of the more modern amps. We also have a tremolo, just as the original amp would have had, and to access that, we simply push the switch here to Alt position. And now the treble control and the boost control become the tremolo speed and depth. All right, let's begin to go through some of the speakers and the cabinets that are available on the Dream 65. Now first, I'm going to set this up on the vintage stock amp setting, which is the middle switch in the middle position here. And then the original would have been actually set up with an Oxford amp. So as of right now, you can see I have no LEDs lit up, which means there's no amp actually being used. Now on the original stock Deluxe Reverb, the amplifier would feed a single 12-inch Oxford speaker. The red light in the middle position denotes that we have the speaker set to Oxford, as you can see on the front panel. So basically what we have dialed in right now is a gold standard reference version of the original Deluxe Reverb amp unmodified. This is the sound we have. Now our bass and our treble controls work just as they do on the original amplifier. Setting the bass, treble, and reverb knobs at about 11 o'clock, which would be around 4 on the dial of the original amplifier, this will provide you with a flat sound as a great starting point. This gives us sort of that traditional deluxe tone, and from there we have access to more low end as well, and a whole lot more treble if you need some bite. So let's go ahead and set that up now. Now, as with the Deluxe Reverb, the volume setting at about 9 o'clock, which would be about 3 on the dial of the actual amp, you're getting a nice, clean, sparkling tone, especially with single coil pickups like I have here on this Fender Strat. However, as we crank that up, it's going to start easing into breakup, just like the real amp would. Let's go ahead and hear how that sounds when we gradually ease into that breakup. So as you can see, it's just there on the edges, nothing too crazy going on right now. Now, when we push the volume to about 3 o'clock or about 8-ish on the amp's volume knob, we can achieve a nice lead tone. This is exactly what you would expect to hear if we were turning up the preamp and hitting those power tubes just a little harder. Take a listen. Now, although the Dream65 is not a high gain amplifier in any sense of the term, you can still get quite a bit of sustain and a bit of crunch and a big fat tone out of this pedal as well. So let's dial things back here to the flat position, and let's move our speaker selector up to the GB25. This setting is basically a greenback loaded into the combo amplifier now, so it's a 𝗧𝗵𝗲 speaker. Now, this setting is not quite as bright, and the top end with distortion gets a little more ragged, but it's a nice fat tone. Let's give it a listen. Now, if we go down to the third position, now we're looking at an 𝗵𝗵𝗛𝗏, which is a very popular speaker that they would put into these combos in the 80s, especially for studio session players. So our speaker options include the greenback in the combo, the Oxford in the combo, and now the 𝗵𝗃 in the combo. As stated before, when you register your pedal, you're going to get 3 additional cabinets and speaker combinations as well. I've registered mine in the website, which was a fairly easy process. So now by pushing the selector switch down again, we'll see a green LED just in a moment. Let's take a listen to the 𝗵𝗵𝗛𝗏. All right, so before we go on to the extra speaker models that would be the green LEDs, let's go ahead and give real quickly just to listen to all 3 of these back to back again. So up here at the top, we have that greenback sound. Here's that stock speaker. And here's the 𝗵𝗃𝗛𝗏. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start getting into those green LEDs and see what exactly those are. So if I keep pressing down here on the panel, you'll notice that it turns green. So what we have here at the very topmost setting with this green LED is going to be 2 Celestion G126s in a boutique 2-rock cabinet. Let's give it a listen. Now in this middle position, we've actually got a pretty fun cabinet. This is a 4x10 super reverb combo cabinet, and they've loaded it up with vintage CTS Alnico speakers. Check this out. All right, and finally, we've got the JBL-D 120 EFS in a 2x12 cabinet. Now, what's crazy is as we're switching through each of these various speakers, it's not just the speaker cabinets that's changing. You're also changing the mic that's on the cabinet. And in some cases, it's a traditional 57 style. In another, it's a ribbon style R121. And in others, you also get a condenser microphone like the C414. So they've selected the appropriate microphone for the speaker that they're using as well. So as you can see, they have painstakingly taken the time to make sure that all that goes into creating this authentic picture of the back end of the amp is as authentic as possible. And this allows you to run this direct into your audio interface or recording direct into a PA system or even a FR system on stage, We could turn this thing off completely by pressing it again and the light goes out. Now we have no speaker emulation, no mic emulation. All right, now let's go back to our stock amplifier. This is our Oxford with the stock setting set as it is. So yet again, this is the stock 65 deluxe reverb amplifier. Now, when we push the mod switch up, we have all the characteristics of an ODI special amplifier. And it's really apparent that when you start working with boost control. So this is sort of that dumble sound. Not much of a difference, but wait. Let's go ahead and turn this boost up. And like I said, again, this is very responsive to touch, so listen. And the volume control as well. All right, let's roll that boost back a little bit, tune this down to the Texas mod or the SRV mod, and pair this with an EV12, which is typically what it would be paired with. That's pretty stinking nice. All right, so now I've grabbed a humbucking guitar. I want to see what this thing sounds like through humbuckers. This is my Squier Classic Vibe thin line Telecaster, and this is absolutely amazing. It's my baby. We got just some dialed back settings here just to get sort of some clean tones. I'm gonna put it in the neck position because this is going to be where the most gain will come from. And as you can see, it sounds really good as a clean style as well. Might even crank up that reverb a little. So as of right now, I'm running through that EV12. Let's go ahead and put this in the combo, or the Oxford speaker rather. And we'll take this back to stock. So now we are at the very beginning where we started. Beautiful. Sounds really good. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with this thing. I have yet to play around with the tremolo feature here, so let's go ahead and do that now. So now that I have it set into alt mode, stuff going on there. All right, guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what has been your favorite tones? Is this something that you feel like you could add to your pedal board, to your arsenal, or even to your home studio? I mean, it would be so cool to be able to use this to take to studios even with you. If you were a session player, like maybe they didn't have the amplifier that you needed, you could literally use this amplifier as your amplifier. You could run this thing front of house. You could run it into your PA system in a church. There's so many different uses for this. So the Dream65 pedal definitely gives you, in my opinion, that authentic deluxe reverb sound, no matter whether you're playing rock, ballads, country, jazz, blues, whatever it might be, whatever type of guitar that you're playing, humbuckers, single coil, all sorts of different pickups, all sorts of guitars, all sorts of styles. I believe that the Dream65 can cover anything. I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you did, leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, remember, we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together, we can achieve so much more.